Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This, of course, is another anime reaction video. Today, we're reacting to some more Gintama, episodes 90 and 91. Still not going to be getting into more, two-parter episodes for the time being. Again, looks like we're going to have to wait till episode 94 and 95 for that, so that's going to be, two more rotations. So, because we're doing 90, 91, then the next one will be 92, 93, and then 94 and 95. So, it's kind of what it looks like. It might take a little bit longer to get there than normal because obviously we're putting in some more shows to replace IQ. And haven't actually picked anything out yet. I'm still accepting answers as of this recording. To be fair, I'm recording this on July 28th, so, and this will go up, the 30th? I think? Yeah, so, anyway. I'm not very far ahead in terms of recording yet. I want to try to be, but every time I do, I end up getting lazy because it's like, I don't need to record anything. I have videos ready. So that's a terrible mindset to have. I'm a procrastinator, if you didn't know. But yeah. Either way, I'm really excited to get into more Gintama. If you are also excited to get into more Gintama, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. That all being said, let's get started with episode 90. Of Gintama. As always, unless you're new here, links down in the description below will take you to where you can watch the full-length, uncut reaction. Once you watch the reaction, you can come back to YouTube to watch the discussion. So let's get started. That was a really interesting end credits scene. But that was pretty funny. Oops, I forgot to turn on the animations. Oh my god. But first of all, ignoring how good that last... how good conceptually that last joke in the after credit scene was. Oh, by the way, I need to actually go back to that scene. Ugh, that's like prime, because this is what, 2007, 2008 in terms of where Gintama is airing. This is prime. You see that 4:3 aspect ratio monitor? Good god. I used to have that kind of monitor. up until, let me go, I want to go find this out now. Up until... It wasn't... Oh, fuck. When was it that I last had a 4:3 monitor? Because I used to have one for fucking ever. And it was kind of insane. I had a 4:3 aspect ratio, I want to say until around 2017, which is pretty late to be switching to the more typical 1080p, 16 to 9 aspect ratio monitor. That's the thing you mostly see nowadays. So, just seeing... the 4:3 again. I mean, I'm already seeing that sort of aspect ratio from watching the show, but the monitor itself, the setup they got here is so old-fashioned, which goddamn. Also, landlines, Jesus. First of all, wired landlines. From my experience in my house, landlines were at least wireless. But anyway, about this episode, God bless getting an episode entirely dedicated to Hasegawa. That was really nice, and. I really kind of enjoyed the idea that, I mentioned it before, but what's so great about Hasegawa, and what's so ironic about it, is that all he ever does... I dropped something. All he ever does is try to help people. He's always helping people out and doing what he thinks is best, and yet he always gets his shit kicked in, and that's kind of what was happening in the beginning of this episode before the OP. If there was ever an argument that karma doesn't exist and that just because you do good things doesn't mean good things will happen to you, it's Hasegawa, because he tries his best to help people. Obviously when he was first introduced, and right after that he lost his job. His wife just moved out, went somewhere else. And when he got a job as a janitor during the arc with the baby, he lost his job there again because he was helping people out, and he was having, even still, when he found something potentially good with his life, that being I believe her name was Jessica, he gets hit by a car and thrown into a hospital, which was almost a blessing in disguise because of how nice the nurse was. But even still, as always, described by himself and other people around him, he is a useless old man. And so instead of trying to be selfish and trying to hog the nurse, so to speak, and try to make something out of it, he's like, it's more important that she's happy, and if she's happy, if she would be happier with somebody else, then that's good enough. Talk about a selfless person. God, I love Hasegawa. He deserves so much better in life. And of course, there was amazing comedy. I was suspicious. I was like, like they were saying at first when they were spying on the nurse, she was looking into the room, and they didn't show Katsuda right away. It was just Elizabeth that she was looking at. Then the person moved out of the way to see Katsuda. So naturally, everyone assumed Katsuda. And I was like, you know what? I'll go with it. But in the flashback that they showed, where she was explaining, first making eye contact or passing by him in the hallway, the fact that Elizabeth was also in that scene made me suspicious that Gintama was gonna pull a Gintama and totally just fuck you up, and be like, no, it was actually Elizabeth. But I didn't say anything because I was like, maybe it would be better if this was a bit more serious and went into a bit more of a Hasegawa serious story, you know, where it didn't need to have that be the end joke. And obviously there was some great comedy, even regardless of it being like a serious Hasegawa episode. But then they hit us with that anyway, and I love that joke at the end, where Gintoki he knows he knows it's weird, and he's like, he knows this is how people in an anime would react to this. An over-exaggerated reaction that they would have in an anime would be this. So he's just like, all right, you know the drill. 3, 2, fall over and make whatever. It's great. God damn it. Maybe next time, Hasegawa. Maybe next time, maybe one of these times in the future, you'll get to be happy. I'm rooting for you, man. You deserve so much better. Alright, yeah. I'm about to get into episode 91 now. Anyway, this was a great episode. As I said, this is completely ludicrous. I would never recommend anyone in their life try to do this kind of die-in. I don't think anybody would, but it's insane. Like, again, I'm no expert. Don't take everything I say with a grain of salt, but it's just, like, you know what? I don't even feel like talking about it anymore. I talked about it a bit in the ED. There's more I could talk about, but again, I'm no expert, so what I say doesn't really matter all too much. But I will say this is a really funny episode, and I really enjoyed the idea of an episode dedicated to just the women of this series, because they're always entertaining. I love them all, and so just having an episode dedicated to them and their interactions with each other is a lot of fun. In fact, I'm pretty sure Tojo was the only male character besides Gintoki and Shinpachi at the very episode. Gintoki, Shinpachi, and Tojo, I think, were the only male characters, and maybe some of the little kids. And so, I don't know, it was just an interesting concept to go with. Obviously highly unrealistic, but I mean, to be fair, when is Gintama ever realistic? So that's not really a mark against it. And again with the fucking Death Note mind games, the twist that because I was wondering about that. What Tojo is saying, I mean, I guess that makes sense. If Kyubey wanted bigger boobs, some people might be misguided in thinking, well, yeah, boobs are fat, but just eating a lot of food isn't how that works. But to reveal that, and I thought it was weird. I thought it was just going to be one of those things where Gintama's just like, yeah, Kyubey's fat now. It's fine. It's for the plot of this episode, so you don't need to think about it that hard. But I was thinking, would she allow herself to get that overweight? Even if she stopped training for a little bit. Not only would that be really hard for her to stop training, if she's been training for such a long time in her life, it would basically be instinct, where it's like, time to wake up and go work out. Like that's a thing. You get used to a certain way of living. You just keep doing it by instinct. It's really hard to break habits, you know. So for her to have broken the habit and then continue breaking the habit for such a long time that she gets that overweight would be insane. Obviously, for others, it just doesn't really make very much sense, especially when you think about their character. But again, for those I guess it makes a bit more sense, and I'm willing to more or less believe. It's just a little gag for this episode. Don't think about it too hard. So, and I called it from the beginning that this nun was just scamming them. I'm a little bit upset we didn't get a moment where the 6 girls either figure it out, like at the end of it when they're about to walk, like when they're leaving the area and they think about it and they're just like, wait a minute, we did lose weight, but this was a fucking scam. This wasn't intended to help lose weight. It was intended to get people to pay money up front, do chores for a while, and then eventually when they're sick of it, quit and ask nothing else in return, even though they didn't get what they wanted out of it. So I wish they went back and just beat the shit out of that old lady for... See, you could argue that they're at least a little bit thankful because it did work, but again, bringing realism into Gintama makes no sense. But realistically, even if this were to work in real life, it would probably be even more detrimental to your health than just being overweight would. Because that put a lot of stress on your body. And you know what people do when they get stressed? A lot of people, what they do when they get stressed is eat a lot. So, unhealthy as fuck. To be fair, so am I. But we don't talk about that. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. Great episode. Love it. Love it. So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. Thank you all once again for watching. Peace.